everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to get into the very heart of the world's largest democracy by looking at its architectural blueprint, the Indian Constitution. Specifically, we're going to break down the four incredible pillars that hold this entire nation together.
Right there in the preamble, the nation's mission statement, we find these four powerful words: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now, these aren't just some abstract, high-flying ideals or fancy slogans. Nope. These are the actual pillars the Republic was built on, designed to shape the life of every single citizen.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get a handle on the preamble's main goals. Then, we're going to take a tour of each of the four pillars: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how they all lock together to form this single, incredibly strong foundation. Sound good? Let's go.
Right, so let's be super clear from the get-go. These pillars are constitutional objectives. They aren't just suggestions, They are the goals the nation literally committed itself to, and they're woven into the very fabric of its laws. Okay, let's dive right in with our first pillar, justice. And this wasn't just about courts and laws. It was way bigger than that. It was about fundamentally re-engineering an entire society to correct centuries of historical wrongs.
So the Constitution breaks justice down into three really crucial dimensions. You've got social justice, which is all about dismantling old hierarchies. Then there's economic justice, to make sure there's fairness in wealth and opportunity. And finally, political justice, to guarantee that absolutely everyone has a voice.
You really have to remember the context here. The framers, led by the brilliant Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, were dealing with a society just scarred by deep-rooted caste discrimination, massive colonial exploitation, and a system where most people had zero political rights. They knew that just getting political freedom would be totally hollow without tackling these deep inequalities head-on.
So, how does this actually affect life today? Well, you see it in the free legal aid that's available to the poor. You see it in the reservation policies that are designed to level the playing field. And you see it in incredibly powerful tools like public interest litigation, which allows any citizen to go to court for a public cause. This has led to some landmark rulings on everything from the environment to human rights. All right, on to our second pillar, liberty. This was an absolutely radical idea after centuries of colonial rule, and it's all about ensuring individual freedom and autonomy. Think of liberty as a shield. It's the shield that protects your personal freedoms from an overreaching state. It's the right to think what you want, say what you believe, and practice your faith without fear. It is the very essence of a free society. Under British rule, censorship was everywhere. Political dissent wasn't just frowned upon. It could literally land you in jail. Trying to form a group or an association, heavily restricted. The framers were absolutely determined that the new Indian state would not be a tool of oppression, so they put these individual liberties right at the very core of the Constitution. This pillar is the reason you have the right to criticize the government. It's why artists can create freely and why you can choose your own career. It protects the media, your personal faith, and even your digital expression. It's really the bedrock of personal freedom in modern India.
Now for the third pillar, equality. And listen, this is about so much more than just treating everyone the same. It's about creating a society where the circumstances of your birth do not determine your destiny.
So the Constitution promises equality in two key ways. First, equality of status, meaning your social standing. And second, equality of opportunity, which is all about your access to education, jobs, and the chance to grow. The big goal here? To get rid of discrimination in all its forms. The framers were looking at a society that was just rigidly divided by caste, by gender, by religion. They knew that simply saying everyone is equal now wouldn't fix anything, so they came up with this really powerful two-pronged attack. First, outlaw discrimination completely, and second, create affirmative action policies to actively uplift communities that have been held back for centuries.
And its impact today is just profound. The abolition of untouchability in Article 17 was nothing short of revolutionary. We see its legacy today in anti-discrimination laws for hiring, in reservation systems in colleges and government jobs, and in the constant legal push for greater gender equality. Okay, let's look at our fourth and final pillar, fraternity. This one is, it's arguably the most unique. It's the emotional core, the crucial element that aims to bind a nation of unbelievable diversity into a single family.
So, what is fraternity? It means a sense of common brotherhood. It's this beautiful idea that no matter our differences, language, religion, you name it, we are all part of one nation. And crucially, that this unity has to respect the dignity of every single individual within it. Now, what's really incredible is how important this was to Dr. Ambedkar. He actually called fraternity the most essential principle. Why? Because he believed that without that feeling of shared identity and mutual respect, liberty and equality would just fall apart. They would be nothing more than words on paper.
The framers knew that their single greatest challenge was managing India's staggering diversity. Without actively building a sense of national identity, of brotherhood, the country could have easily fractured along all its fault lines. Fraternity was the answer. It was the glue they needed.
So, we've seen all 4 pillars, but here's the truly brilliant part. They don't just stand on their own. They're designed as an interlocking, self-supporting system.
And this table just illustrates that perfectly. I mean, think about it. Without justice, what good are your rights? They're meaningless. Without liberty, democracy turns into tyranny. Without equality, freedom is just a privilege for the rich and powerful. And without fraternity, well, society just shatters into a million competing pieces. Each pillar needs the other 3 to stay standing.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that together, these 4 principles were designed to create a democracy that is so much more than just voting every few years. It's about building a society that is fundamentally ethical, deeply inclusive, and always humane, with the dignity of the individual right at its center.
And that brings us to a final thought for you. Over 70 years later, the journey to fully realize these ideals is still ongoing. It really makes you wonder, which of these 4 pillars do you think needs the most reinforcement today to keep that original, powerful vision alive and strong? Let us know what you think. Thanks so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe for more.